This evening, hairdresser's lifeless body found abandoned near a public road. Boyfriend in police custody. Female pillion rider killed in Mandela Avenue accident. 6,000 Guyanese will begin hospitality training soon in the region. Colombia Truth Commission presents final report on civil conflict, and internationally, protests over economic woes enter second day in Ghana. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Detectives in Regional Division 6 are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 29-year-old female whose body was found at about 7 a.m. this morning at Cortland Village Public Road, Quarantine Berbice. The dead woman has been identified as Deno Lisa Park, a hairdresser of No. 2 Village, East Country, Berbice. According to Park's sister, who resided with her, she last saw her sibling alive on Wednesday, June 29th, around 8 a.m. The deceased woman reportedly told her sister that she was going to braid someone's hair at Fort Ordnance on East Country, Berbice. Park did not return home that evening. Around 6 a.m. this morning, her sister called the individual whose hair she was going to braid, but the individual informed her that Park never showed up. A missing persons report was made to the police and family members formed a search party. Subsequently, at around 7 a.m., Donna Lisa Park's body was found wrapped in plastic on the Cortland Village Public Road, Quarantine Berbice. The dead woman's uncle, Mortland Amsterdam, told reporters that checks were made at her boyfriend's home and was told by his sister that Park spent the night there with her brother. However, he left for work in the morning and Park was not there. Amsterdam added that reliable sources informed the family that the man was not supposed to return to work until next weekend. A search in the bushes opposite the boyfriend's house, the search party noticed a bag. The police was notified. Upon opening the bag, Park's body was discovered inside. Amsterdam further mentioned that Park's slippers and a wig were found under a step at the suspect's residence. He further explained that they also discovered bloodstains on a step treader. The scene and surrounding areas were processed and photographed by the crime scene ranks. The body of the deceased is presently at the Rambles Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. The suspect is currently in police custody assisting with the investigation. Police are investigating a deadly accident on Mandela Avenue that killed a female pillion rider, as the service explains.
Police are investigating a fatal accident that claimed the life of a female pillion rider at Nelson Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, on Wednesday, June 29, 2022. Dead is 42-year-old mother of 5, Odessa Sam, of Lot 170 Middle Road, La Penitence. Sam was a pillion rider of motorcycle CH1099 driven by Wendell O'Derrick of Lot 65 Lamaha Springs, Georgetown. According to the police, around 6:20 p.m., the motorcycle CH1099 was traveling north along the Critchlow Avenue, and a motor jeep PSS 7007 driven by 41-year-old Nadia Mohammed of Houston Gardens, East Bank, Demerara, was traveling west along the northern drive lane of the southern carriageway of Nelson Mandela Avenue. It is alleged that on approaching the junction of Nelson Mandela and Critchlow Avenue, the driver of the motorcycle failed to stop and proceeded to cross the road to get onto the northern carriageway at an opening between the median. In doing so, he ended up into the path of the motor jeep. As a result, the front of the motor jeep came into contact with the right side of the motorcycle. Due to the collision, the motorcyclist along with the pillion rider was thrown onto the road surface and sustained multiple injuries. The driver of the motorcycle was picked up in a semi-conscious condition and transferred to the Georgetown Public Hospital. The pillion rider was transported to the hospital by police vehicle and pronounced dead on arrival. Her body is currently lying at the Memorial Gardens Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem examination. The driver of the motorcycle was also seen and examined by a doctor and treated for his head injuries. He remains critical. A notice of intent prosecution was served to the driver of motor Jeep PSS 7007. Police investigations continue. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Bureau of Statistics and Digital Technologies Group of Companies Incorporated signed a contract for over $200 million for the supply and delivery of 2,400 computer tablets and accessories to be utilized for field data collection during Guyana's 2022 population and housing census. Signing on behalf of the Bureau during the ceremony, hosted in the boardroom of the organization's headquarters, was Chief Statistician Errol Cruz, who spoke of the importance of the contract. According to him, the contract has significant implications for the conduct of the census, since it will be the first time that this national data collection exercise will be computer-based. De Cruz added that the computer tablets are a critical part of the census, since they will facilitate faster data capturing, reporting, and analysis to produce quality data in record time. Signing on behalf of the supplier was Senior Operations Manager Jennifer Prasad, who noted that the devices will meet the needs of the organization and that the execution of the census will be successful. A total of 19 bids were received following the advertising of the open public tender, which was executed through the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. The census, Ghana's largest national data collection exercise, is being planned for commencement in mid-September 2022. Stick around after the break. 6,000 Guyanese will begin hospitality training soon, and several villages in Region 7 will benefit from upcoming BIT training in the region. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Traveling soon? Then come into John Lewis Styles on Waterloo Street and let's help you choose the right set of luggage. You can choose to buy 3-piece luggage sets, or separate pieces, but the sets are always a better deal. Either available in soft poly, or ABS hard side material, with 4-wheeled spinners, and in many colors too. Also available are carry-on luggage, computer bags, duffel bags, backpacks, travel pillows, blankets and lots more to make your trip enjoyable. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Guyanese, now is our time. The most important challenge for us is to have good governance with a governing administration that is genuinely inclusive and rejects segregation and discrimination. Let us maximize the enormous oil patrimony now for our people in every way possible to significantly uplift the quality of life and infrastructure in Guyana. It is not the time to use our bonanza of oil resources as a catalyst to primarily quibble about climate change or better oil deals than other countries have. Guyanese oil resources per capita exceeds all other countries. Together, we must use this enormous tide of our oil resources to enrich, elevate, and empower Guyanese by continuously focusing on improving our government regulations, systems, and policies to accelerate benefits to our people across the 10 regions of Guyana. A message from Nigel Hines.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Welcome back. 6,000 Guyanese will soon begin receiving hospitality training in Barbados. The government of Guyana and Barbados agreed last year on the training of Guyanese in hospitality to effectively prepare Guyana for the imminent boom in tourism sector. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Juanage Waldron and Barbados Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Senator Lisa Cummins, recently met with the head of the Training Institute in Barbados to work out the details.
We are almost ready when the portal is being set up to start that training program as well for in the hospitality. It's going to be hybrid, especially the theory part is going to be hybrid, and then when we have to do the practical, that's where we're going to have more hands-on, and face-to-face.
Providing further details on the program, Minister Waldron said the training would be hybrid, fusing theory and practice.
We still have to work with the modalities of how we get the practical portion going. Whether we have some of our students go to Barbados to complete their, let's say, their certificate program, whether it culminates with a practical program at the end of it, or whether we incorporate different parts, modules of practical in the theory section.
Last year, President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali said Barbados has an established world-class hospitality program that will benefit Guyana. He said there is a need for technical capacity and human resources to manage the work in the many hotels to be established locally. Meanwhile, Minister Waldron said the establishment of the local Hospitality Training Institute is progressing smoothly, as well as all areas of collaboration with Barbados regarding airlift and joint marketing. Several residents and communities in Region 7 are preparing to enroll in the Board of Industrial Training courses. More from Esther Sobers.
Several communities in the Upper Mazaruni Region 7 area are getting ready to enroll in training courses offered by the Board of Industrial Training. Jawala, Kako, Aramadong, Karamang, and Paruma are some of the settlements that will profit from programs beginning at the end of July in garment fabrication, joinery, boat building, and commercial food preparation. During a visit to the village, Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton pointed out that the programs are not gender-specific and encourage women to take advantage of the male-dominant training programs.
Many of the villages and the villages, they have outlined the need for training, technical and vocational training programs, and we have made some commitments, and they have made some commitments to us, and the intention is that in a month's time, we can start programs in the 5 villages. You would note, based on the interaction, how important these things are to people, to give people a skill that they don't have, and to reskill some people.
Minister Hamilton informed that the citizens that the programs were just the state of what they might anticipate from the ministry, and that a technical officer would be returning to each community 2 weeks to complete the work plans. Residents were reassured that the ministry would continue to assist the development of citizens and communities. Since 2020, BIT has trained approximately 4,000 individuals in small engine repairs, heavy-duty equipment, operation, electrical installation, and computer repairs. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Protests over economic woes enter the second day in Ghana. And Japan, Tokyo swelters amid worst June heatwave since 1875.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Traveling soon? Then come into John Lewis Styles on Waterloo Street and let's help you choose the right set of luggage. You can choose to buy 3-piece luggage sets or separate pieces, but the sets are always a better deal. Either available in soft poly or ABS hard side material with 4-wheeled spinners and in many colors too. Also available are carry-on luggage, computer bags, duffel bags, backpacks, travel pillows, blankets and lots more to make your trip enjoyable. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Guyanese, now is our time. The most important challenge for us is to have good governance with a governing administration that is genuinely inclusive and rejects segregation and discrimination. Let us maximize the enormous oil patrimony now for our people in every way possible to significantly uplift the quality of life and infrastructure in Guyana. It is not the time to use our bonanza of oil resources as a catalyst to primarily quibble about climate change or better oil deals than other countries have. Guyanese oil resources per capita exceeds all other countries. Together, we must use this enormous tide of our oil resources to enrich, elevate, and empower Guyanese by continuously focusing on improving our government regulations, systems, and policies to accelerate benefits to our people across the 10 regions of Guyana. A message from Nigel Hines.
Welcome back. Here now is Esther Sobers with today's regional and international news.
Good evening. Here are your regional and international news for today, June 30th, 2022. I am Esther Sobers. We appreciate you joining us. Colombia's Truth Commission has presented its final report on the country's long-running civil conflict, announcing that at least 450,664 people were killed over nearly 6 decades of fighting.
After 4 years of investigations, the President of Colombia's Truth Commission proudly presented the body's final report. It's the most comprehensive narrative yet of Colombia's long and brutal internal conflict. A war that over half a century cost more than 250,000 lives, 5 million people were forced from their homes by the violence, tens of thousands either kidnapped or raped.
We bring a message of hope and future for our broken and violated nation, disturbing truths that defy our dignity, a message for all of us as human beings, a message of truth to help halt the intolerable tragedy of a conflict in which 80% of the victims are civilians.
The commissioners, who wore shirts that read, "There is future if there is truth," interviewed almost 30,000 people for the report, victims, perpetrators, even former presidents. It clarified the facts and context that allowed the conflict to perpetuate, including the rise of paramilitary groups, cocaine mafias, and the role of the United States, that for years funded Colombia's counterinsurgency operations. The report also provided a number of recommendations to end the violence. among them a sweeping transformation of the country's armed forces, drug policy changes, and fully implementing the 2016 peace agreement. Absent was outgoing President Ivan Duque, who has had a fraught relationship with the Commission. Instead, tellingly, it was President-elect leftist Gustavo Petro who received the report. He pledged to carry out the recommendations.
These recommendations will become successful in the history of Colombia. Truth doesn't mean revenge. It means dialogue. It means agreement. It means coexistence. It means reconciliation.
At times, victims of the conflict interrupted the speeches, shouting from their seats, demanding recognition for the deaths of their loved ones or protection for their territories.
We know that not everything we want will be in the reports, but this is the start of what we can do all together. We need to untangle this absurd war and start weaving a stable and enduring peace among all.
This will not be the end of the Commission's work, as commissioners will travel throughout the country the next 2 months to share their findings with Colombians. Then a second commission will be elected, tasked with supervising the implementation of the recommendations in the report for the next 7 years. Further steps in the long and complicated path toward reconciliation in Colombia. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
Internationally, demonstrators in Ghana capital have gathered for the second day of protests against spiraling inflations and other economic woes after the first day ended in clashes with police and 29 arrests. Al Jazeera Ahmed Idris reports.
Back for a second day of protest despite an earlier crackdown. A meeting with the country's deputy finance minister and then a march to the parliament, while the demonstrators demanded the government reverse what they called punitive economic policies.
Today, the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to afford 3 square meals a day, not even 2 square meals a day, because we are suffering. From 14 Ghana cedis in 2016, the price of a gallon of diesel and petrol has galloped to a whopping 61 Ghana cedis. Today, the price of a bag of cement has galloped from 28 Ghana cedis to 62 Ghana cedis.
The rising cost of living is one reason demonstrators are on the streets, but organizers say they're also concerned about political corruption, increases in taxes, as well as alleged cases of human rights abuses by security forces. They say all these are combining to make life difficult for most people here in Ghana.
Members of parliament say they are aware of the country's growing economic and social problems.
We will do what is needful. The petition itself will thoroughly be debated on the floor of Parliament and positions taken. But my first advice would be for the President to halt momentarily all petroleum-related taxes to save the lives and improve the quality of living of Ghanaians.
On Tuesday, the protest turned ugly as demonstrators clashed with police, who say at least a dozen officers were hurt and vehicles damaged. The demonstrators said police fired rubber-coated steel bullets at them and arrested dozens. Less than 2 years into his second term, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo is coming under increasing pressure. The economy is faltering, unemployment is rising, and inflation has reached its highest level in decades. Analysts here say the government and parliament must quickly act to calm an already agitated population. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Accra, Ghana.
And finally, soaring temperatures have continued for a 5th day in Japan, with the capital recording its hottest ever heat wave since record began in 1875. Al Jazeera's Sonia Galigo reports.
Scorching heat and record high temperatures. No respite yet for people in Tokyo, as meteorologists say the heat wave is set to continue into July, at a time when Japan is usually experiencing its rainy season. On top of this, Japan's power supply grid is under such strain that the government fears it may not cope and has asked people to save energy.
We knew the electricity demand would go up, so authorities should have taken measures more swiftly, but they didn't do anything until it got really hot. There are things we can do to save energy, but some things we can't.
We are told to save energy, but the heat could also put people's lives at risk. It's a difficult situation, but I want to cooperate and be part of efforts to save energy.
Hundreds of people have been taken to hospital for heat stroke. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida had said he would do his utmost to secure enough energy for the country by making use of its nuclear power capabilities. It's no guarantee. Most of Japan's nuclear plants have stopped production since the 2011 tsunami that triggered the Fukushima nuclear plant accident. This heatwave comes less than 2 weeks before a national election. High on voters' concerns, the price of electricity, and according to opinion polls, an issue causing a dip in Kishida's approval ratings. And while people wait for the temperature to drop, they're doing all they can to stay cool. Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Esther. And that is all for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.